Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show with Mike and T. What up, T?
Hey, buddy, how are you?
I am very good. I'm very excited for today.
Yeah? It's a hump
Today's
day?
episode. Hump day, yeah, that's what it is.
Ew, you.
You know how excited I get for Wednesdays? Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, we've got some special guests in studio. I'm excited to get to them. You've met one of them before. And by you, I mean the audience.
Yes.
That is the woke bay.
The general yous.
Yeah, the woke bays in the house. What up, Garrett?
Hello. What's
How
up?
are you, buddy?
Doing all right.
It's good to see you.
It's good to be back on.
I love the members only T-shirt. That's the first time I've seen it on someone.
It's perfect quality, very long, very soft.
Very nice. That's what I like to hear. Yeah,
right.
It fits well. And the cap. That's the first winter beanie I've seen as well.
Well, I had to replace the other one because I had all the damage on the side, all that problems.
I was worried though that when I saw that and you were kind of retiring the original, which I think you wore every day for 4 years or something.
Yeah, about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, and it was like, oh man, I hope this one is as comfortable and as nice because that logo on that
Very
original Detroit cast one was really cool too. It was kind of low riding,
Yep.
you know.
Low-key. But this one, I love it a lot too. It like kind of sits in the same spot.
Yeah,
Very
it does.
comfortable.
It does. Yeah, it looks good too.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
I appreciate the support, my friend. I really do. And I know your family listens.
Yep.
Well, your mom listens when you're on, but
Yeah.
your dad listens more religiously. But I got a text from you. I think I was still out west at the time, and you said, "Hey, I got a friend coming to town who happens to be transgender, male to female.
Correct.
Would you have any interest in having her in?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, it sounds great. I love talking to people." So please welcome in Marina as well. Hi, Marina.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Feel excellent.
Yeah, welcome to Detroit. Have you been having fun so far?
A lot of fun. There's so much beauty and culture in this city.
Yeah.
Which is surprising to me.
Well, it's a lot older city than Phoenix or Scottsdale.
Exactly.
You know, it's very clean out there. I notice a lot of spots. I know there's rough spots too, but your freeways and all the artwork along the side of the freeways. I love all that stuff that they do in Arizona. I've got family out there, so I spend quite a bit of time out there. But we'll get to everything involving you guys. We spend plenty of time talking about the trans world, and you're our first transgender person in studio.
Oh, wow. Hey.
So it's exciting for us. I hope, don't be nervous. We'll just have fun and kick the
sure.
ball around. All I asked Garrett was like, does she have a sense of humor? Is she cool? And he's like,
You would be friends with me if you didn't.
Exactly. And it's like,
For
well, if
sure.
you're friends with him, I mean, he's the one that gave us our
fag pass.
the fag pass. Yeah. So
yes.
so
Yeah,
we're
what
part
it
of the
is, too.
community too. So
I gave you permission. You're good.
and I have it. I don't know if it's in my wallet, which I don't have on me. But before we get to that, I did want to mention new car inventory is growing, and when inventory grows, so do the savings. Full lot means better selection, and better selection means dreamy deals. Best of all, when you visit our friends and OG sponsors, Zott Ford and Holly, you get both. So if you bought out your lease in the past year or two because there was nothing to choose from and the deal sucked, then today is your lucky day. No need to spend money on new brakes, tires, or maintenance. Just trade that turd in and get $2,000 more than it appraised for when you purchase or lease a new Ford Escape, Edge, or Explorer at Zott Ford. As a matter of fact, you can trade in almost any used car and get the extra $2,000 when you get a new whip. Need more deals? How about 0% financing? Yes, 0%. On many new vehicles in stock at Zott, plus our boy Gabarra and the team will toss in a Ford Factory trifold tonneau cover at no charge on every new F-150 you buy or lease in the month of January. Clearly, an expanding inventory generates beautiful bargains, and you can check out both when you go visit Deals in the D. Also, Walters at DetroitCast.com. Thank you to everybody that sent emails. I'll get to some of those as we go later today. But RadioFor1.com is live. You can get merch there. Garrett, you look great in your merch.
I'm wearing all of it.
I love it. T-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, winter beanies. You can see it on camera if you're watching us today on YouTube or wherever you watch the show. Amazon link, Amazon Canada is live. Please just go to our page, click on that, and they help us out. So MyPillow as well. Just use promo code TDC. Groupon is there, or you can link to our Patreon page. I was dropping some new content, T, the stuff we did over the weekend with Skylar.
Oh, yeah.
Your daughter. And
I just sent Ryan the pic to use for the...
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Okay. He said he couldn't find it right away. So I might have to go up there again, and it might just be in a different box.
All right.
It's there. I listened to it. So that'll be loaded. That was almost a full episode we did with her.
Yeah,
so,
well over an hour, wasn't it? Ended up being?
Yeah, it was. And we got to talk about, the younger generation because she's in her early 20s. and kind of how she sees the world and all that kind of stuff.
How
and then
dumb they are.
how to get away with murder and how not to. That was fun.
Yep.
To discuss with her. She's like, an ice pick. I'm like, no, not.
No.
that's
In her
not what I
defense, she
mean.
didn't say an ice pick. She said use an icicle.
It melts.
Yeah.
And then,
melts.
And then it
the
melts,
murder
yeah.
weapon melts.
Okay, okay. But that's not what I was looking for when I asked the question. I was a little horrified at how quickly she jumped in with an answer about how she would murder someone. It was like, how did you train this thing, man?
Smartly.
Yeah. An icicle. She's brilliant.
Yeah, indeed.
Anyways, Marina, I mentioned that you are, you're from South Beach area in Miami.
Well, the Broward County area.
Yeah.
I would go to South Beach often.
It seems like that's a good place to be for a transgender person.
It really wasn't at the time.
Really?
Yeah, and I discovered my transgender transition thing when I was in my 20s,
Yeah.
and I wasn't in that area.
Okay.
I would go to Wilton Manors, that's the gay city in Florida, and
Yeah.
even then it didn't feel safe.
What is that, like West Hollywood type?
It's like North Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
And it's like they had a gay mayor. There was a huge gay, community there.
So that's like Ferndale here,
Yeah.
and West Hollywood, like West Hollywood and Los Angeles is like that. Like
Yes.
the whole area is, I don't know if they've got a gay mayor. I'd call him a gayer.
Okay.
But
Fort Wayne.
Brilliant.
Fort Wayne had one. Yeah, we're all progressive around here.
Yeah.
But then you moved out to Scottsdale,
I moved over to Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Yeah, in
Okay.
2015, I just got all my stuff and drove across.
Was there any reason why you picked Phoenix of all places?
I had a friend that lived over here, and I was going through depression like crazy in 2014, so I had to
Yeah.
just flee the nest
Yeah.
and go change my environment. So
Any
I'm like,
idea?
sure.
What do you know? What the depression was based in?
Yeah, I just got out of a relationship with a guy.
Yeah.
And he helped me discover that I was trans.
Okay.
And then he's just gone.
How does that happen?
How does it? I don't know.
I don't want it to sound like you got talked into it by some dude.
And then,
I know.
and then let go, like, shit.
Shit.
No,
Oh
no.
man.
I just always had something in the back of my head. It's like, you're kind of effeminate. I'm like, no, I'm just gay. I'm just gay. I'm just gay. And then it hit me like I love cosplaying. I love dressing up as anime characters. Okay, well, maybe you don't want to dress up as an anime character. Put on some makeup and look like a legit woman. Try this. And it looked great. So I remember the first time I actually showed him my photos. The first time I put on makeup and a wig and I got all cute, and I presented myself to my boyfriend when he came home from work that day, and it was fun.
Yeah.
He was like, "Holy shit!" I'm like, "Yeah."
He's
I
like,
know.
I'm dating a girl.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know what's offensive or not. Everything it seems like is offensive nowadays. So
course.
it's hard to know where the line is. But is it super offensive to say you look very passable?
It's not.
You know what I
would
mean?
think
Like
that's a compliment. Yeah, I would think.
I
Yeah.
would. It's meant that way,
Right.
but I don't.
Yeah.
There's so many ways that people step in it.
Yes.
We read about that every day, and it can be the most sincere, genuine thing. We fuck around a lot on this show and make fun of everybody and everything, and that includes the transgender community. But I want to be as respectful, and I think Troy would say the same thing.
Absolutely.
And we grant that to everybody that comes in this room. We're grateful for anybody that comes in here and want to show the utmost respect to people. I think we did that with you.
Oh yeah, that's why I love it here.
Yeah, and had a lot of fun. But yeah, passable is what I'd say, and I think that's something that's not so easy for a lot of people.
True.
You know?
Got a lot of trans friends where it's very difficult for them, especially for their voice.
Yeah.
Things like that. You can't control things like that.
Yeah.
Is that just something you had to work on? Your voice?
I get that question all the
Just
time.
curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
this was always.
that's always been your
It's always
voice?
been like
Yeah.
this. I've always had a high-pitched voice, even in middle school, elementary school.
Yeah.
But we all did
Constantly
back then.
Exactly, but it's stuck with me
right.
apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
So you don't have to force it at all.
No,
now,
I have to force the deep voice.
really.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you get really pissed off and does the deep voice come out? Can you make it come out then?
I notice when I'm like, smoking a blunt, it comes out, if I'm doing something like that, but I have to force it. But then
Yeah.
I'm rarely in a situation where I have to force the man voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have to deal with I don't know what your ID says. Is it
It is masculine. It's male. I
It's
haven't changed
male.
it.
Okay.
It's my old name.
So does that cause shit? I know you've got a flight coming up. You're heading back to Arizona, I believe. And you're going on. Oh, beloved American Airlines, which I just flew
Yeah,
on.
I don't like them anymore.
Did they give you shit?
Of course they did.
Yeah. What was that about?
Well, I mean, I couldn't have my boobs. I couldn't have. This is, silicone. It's just a bra that has inserts. And one
Okay.
day I'll have my breasts. I'm growing them, but they're not at the size that I want them to be. So this is where they are right now.
Do we want to go bigger, smaller?
It's going to stay a double D for sure.
Okay.
I think that's the size I'm going to stick at. But
So what
It's
is
a good choice.
so what? Yeah, double D is always
Yeah.
good.
it matches my hips.
There you go.
So what like is this like a trial run then before having top surgery, where it's like I'm going to see what size feels comfortable, what looks best? Is that kind of the thought process?
You could say that for sure. But in the back of my head, I've always kind of had this idea of what my image will be, the silhouette. And I go to the gym and I diet and I do certain things to get it that way.
Yeah.
So I'm going for an hourglass form, a statuesque look. And I've got girlfriends in Scottsdale that are helping me with that. It's like, no, wear this.
Yeah.
Like, oh, wear that. Put this on. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
thank you, ladies. So I'm the fun one that they show off.
It seems like it'd be it's a decent time to be transgender in this country.
Yeah, it is.
You have to notice that. I don't know what it was like
did.
when did you start?
I actually started taking estrogen last year in May. That's when I started estrogen officially.
Okay.
But I've always been, I wore a mask. I'd go to work as a dude, come home, dress up, and then go out as a chick
Yeah.
for years. I lived this double life, even with my, family when they come to visit. I hid all my girl stuff in the
Yeah.
closet, and I was just presenting them as male constantly. Even I had the voice, I had the hips, I had everything.
Yeah.
So
So did you feel that growing up then? Like something's wrong?
I
don't-
definitely did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like at an early age? Because we hear that from people.
Definitely. At an early age, I just, you go to school and you're constantly mistaken for a chick. I'd have people just calling me a girl, even teasingly.
Yeah.
But then I'd get it from teachers. And they would say, your name is Christina. Like when they would do the roster, that's when my heart would just like die.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Christina, because my first name is Christian. And for whatever reason in the public schools, it would type Christina. The N would be missing because it only shows 8 characters for whatever reason. So like every time they called roll, it's like Christina. And then the whole year, I'm labeled as Christina.
Yeah, and
And
kids can be cruel.
Of course. Even when, this is, I started growing my hair when I was 18.
Yeah.
I always had the army cuts. So I would dress masculine, but then you have the feminine voice and I had the hips and everything.
Yeah.
So I knew. And I always thought that, I'm just effeminate. I'm just a gay guy or
Yeah.
something.
And did you know were you attracted to guys?
Incredibly, yeah.
Yeah.
Always attracted to men. I was never really. I would date girls and like try it out, but they were like friends.
Yeah.
Like I was friends with all the popular girls in school, so none of the guys messed with me.
Yeah, that's
'Cause
what I remember
had-
about gay guys in like middle
Yes.
school. It was like
Oh, yeah.
that dude. We didn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
But I remember and I can't even remember his name. It was literally like 7th grade, and it was when you had those long like lunch tables, and you'd have cliques in different groups, and there was like one guy, and he was with all the hot chicks.
Yeah.
And it was like, but you knew he didn't have any interest in them. It was like a platonic thing.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you that he was just gay.
Yeah.
I'm sure of it. Yeah. So sounds like what
Same
you went
story.
through. Yeah.
But I had fun with it. I would like tease. So I went to prom with 2 girlfriends, like one on one arm, one on the other.
Yeah.
And we took the photograph, and I'm me with my short curls, dressed up in a tuxedo, and I've got one girl here with her leg on me, one girl here with her leg on me, and it was just a riot. Everyone loved it.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I just assumed I was gay at the time. I always knew I was feminine.
Yeah.
And then when I turned into my 20s, like when I was 22, I took a sociology class in Bard College. And they were showing us the social deviancy is what they called it. Like people who go against the norm. And they showed the ladyboys in India and in Thailand.
Yeah, the Thailand. Yeah.
And that these businessmen would go there and have relationships with these dudes who were incredibly effeminate.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait,
And
you can
tiny
do that?
too.
Yeah, and
like,
very
like you'd never know.
they look like chicks, and they just
Totally.
had albinos.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, you can do that, So it just something clicked in my head, and it just stuck around. I'm like, maybe this is a thing. And I also used to do a lot of volunteer work after school, and even when I graduated in college, there was like LGBTQ gay clubs that I would go hang out.
Yeah.
And just help around the M Project back in the day. I don't know if it's still there or not.
What's that?
The M Project was for LGBTQ men that were 16 to 21. They would just go there and hang out to just enrich them and be like, this is safe sex, this is condoms, things like that. Teach them a safe place for them to be versus being on the street doing God knows what.
Yeah.
So we'd like watch movies, we would have snack nights, we'd have gaming nights, rock, what was it called? Rock band?
Guitar Hero?
Guitar Hero, we'd play that,
Dude, I love that game.
it
I
was just
still
a
have
I
it.
hangout
still gotta
spot.
take you out on that, man. I'll
Dude, I have it
your ass.
upstairs. I hooked my PS3 back up
yeah.
because that's where it was the best. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And that's so I
It was
wanted
a safe space.
Yeah, and well, I suppose everyone wants a space where they,
Yeah.
whether that's math club or anything. It's kind of no different.
Yeah.
Where you can meet people that you relate to.
Oh yeah, definitely. It wasn't
Yeah.
meant to be like a hookup spot. It was more of a, instead of being out there doing God knows what.
Yeah.
You can be here and be around friends.
Was
Wrapping
it totally a hookup spot, though?
Yeah.
They did use that.
yeah.
That was the
We had
We
fun.
would have
unintended
too.
consequences.
We would have
Of course.
too.
It
Yeah.
wasn't meant to be, but
It happens.
like-minded people. It's gonna happen.
We've long been of the opinion that the Christian right with like the super the conversion therapy camps and stuff. It's like, how is that just not a gay hookup? Like you put all these dudes together, like trying to convince them that they're not really gay, and then just have them go hang out in the woods together for a week.
Time
It's
for
like,
your one-on-one therapy.
yeah. What do you think's gonna happen in that conversion therapy? So I want to wrap up the airport thing.
Oh God.
Yeah, and you can say whatever you want, but I hate the airport. I hate, I don't hate. I'm not afraid to fly. I fly a lot, but I hate the whole process of going through the airport. I want to be left alone. I want to sit there by myself, and then when my section's called or whatever, go up, slap my phone down with my boarding pass, and then get on and leave me alone. Come by when there's
Right.
drinks on the drink cart. And I imagine it's not the same for you. And it's got to be something where it's kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, what is this experience today going to be like
Exactly.
for me? And what do you run into more times than not?
What I run into over there is just people give this double look because I'm in the dress and everything, but I went without my boobs. This is a bra with inserts.
Right.
And it was inside of my pulley cart that I was pulling behind me, and it was flagged in TSA. And
For silicone?
silicone.
Is that the liquid issue? Is that the problem?
Well, it's a solid silicone,
Well, they probably just see the two masses
These
in
two, that's
yeah.
exactly what it was.
in the X-ray, and they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but dude, I take needles through there with insulin and stuff. I've recently found
Yeah.
out I have type 2 diabetes, and yeah, it sucks.
I don't think anybody's worried about you blowing up a plane with insulin, though.
No, I know, but it's like here's a bag full of fucking needles and liquid. I mean, it's more than whatever they allow, 2 ounces or something.
Yeah.
And I'm just it's just something that I'm mindful of now. Like I've never had to worry about that, and I.
Well,
go
again,
through
even
there
that,
and
looking at a
check
bunch
it.
of needles that you can tell what it is.
Yeah.
There, you're just looking at nothing.
I would think the same thing would apply. That you'd look at that and go, "Oh, that's a pair of titties."
Maybe not, but you might want to look and just find out. That's
Oh
all.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird to
It's
stack
not like there's a
up,
nipple
too.
on it,
What
right? It's gonna
Nipples.
they
on them.
do?
Yes, they do.
in it. Oh, I just thought it was like
Yeah.
like a bag, like a.
So we actually had one around here. Remember that?
Yeah.
A nurse brought one by for
Well,
us.
that's right.
C cup, I believe. I don't know where it is, but they deflate after a while.
Oh yeah.
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 I don't know if you knew that.
These are pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
I spent a good $1 on them.
Did you?
So yeah.
So are those the ones they're going to put in you one day?
No, these are just to have around. Eventually I will, but that stuff's expensive.
Yeah.
Someday I'll
indeed.
get the financing.
You
for
mean
it.
like top surgery in
top
general?
surgery, especially?
Now, do you have to cover that yourself? Seems like there's a lot of programs out there that are covering a lot of that stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'd have to look into it. I honestly haven't had a chance. Going to work, doing all the things. I feel like it's best for me to grow them. So like after a year or two, when I've got
So
a
you mean with
decent-
estrogen?
Yes, exactly. And my girls are growing.
Yeah.
So I'll see how far they go.
So what are we sporting now? A nice little B cup, an A cup? What do we got?
What would
Don't look at me, man. I'm the worst
I'm
at
just,
Look at the gay guy. Like,
It's
how'd
like
you
I don't
find
even
that, right?
want to know.
I
It's
think
about like
like
that.
a B or like a, I don't know.
Okay.
big hands. I
They're
can't judge
pretty
those.
sizable.
Yeah, me too. It's nice. It's a nice little B cup.
Yeah,
I'll have you two
my-
stand by side. I'll do some comparisons.
of course, definitely. Mine are pretty good handfuls. Like they jiggle and stuff like that.
There you go.
Nice.
So I'm
Getting there.
assuming B's.
I'm assuming well, I know they've come a long way. Back in the old days, they were
Just rocks.
Yeah, they were rocks. They weren't fun.
Oh God.
But
I can
they've
imagine.
come a long way. I ran into a pair not that long ago in the last few years, and it was like, really? Those are fake? Fuck out of here. Really? I had no idea. Yeah, so they've come a long way. It's a good time.
Nice. That's a good thing.
Yeah. Right. Progress.
So how did you two meet? You guys are similar age.
Yeah. Want me
We
to tell
met
it?
online.
Yeah,
you
go
can
ahead,
tell it.
Garrett.
No, we just through playing video games and stuff. You meet up and stuff, and you get into different groups, like on Discord and stuff, about what games you're playing around the same stuff. And we just ended up playing a lot of the same games, Minecraft, Call of Duty, things like that. And we were just in the same groups and mutual friends and stuff. And eventually, we just started hanging out in calls, playing games together. And after about a year and a half, I think I challenged you. Like you were just saying something about like a fight or something. Like, well, come up here and get it, or whatever. And then you called my bluff, and now here we are, hanging out.
Really?
Yeah.
So can you guys see each other when you're playing games? Games have changed so
With
much.
Discord
Oh, yeah.
and stuff, you can throw your camera on the side. It just kind of looks exactly like that. And you'll have
Okay.
a bunch of your friends
Okay.
playing video games together. You can see camera and voice and everything like that.
Yeah, yeah. So would you look like this when you're playing games?
Yeah.
Or
I
would-
mean, he's
Yeah.
yeah, because
Yeah.
I come home from work and I have my makeup on.
Okay.
I usually had like a wig or something, but I was sport like this.
Yeah.
I'm relaxing and doing this.
Yeah.
How long
And
ago
then-
was this?
When was the last time we gamed? Thursday night.
Yeah,
before
probably about
we-
Thursday night before you
Yeah,
get left.
like every night we would play
Oh,
with
yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
No, I just meant when did you meet? When did you,
That
when did
was
you?
probably about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and then
So
so
we've
do you
been-
take it offline then and start chatting on the phone?
Yeah.
and-
We
Yeah, of
started following on
course.
Instagram and then just, hanging out, liking pictures and stuff. And then eventually just started chatting and shit and texting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So is there a connection with the community? I don't know how else to say it, but
It's more
gay
actually,
guy, trans girl,
the
like
connection was mostly about the humor. Because there's a lot of people in that group that are not gay. They have totally different
Yeah.
lifestyles, stuff like that. But just we all get along with the same sense of humor and the same games we play that we all just became friends.
shit talking.
Yeah, it's a lot of shit
essentially.
talking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm the king of the shit talking in that group.
That doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me.
Sounded like she owned you though.
Yeah. Well, she called my bluff, and now we're best friends.
There you go.
I love it.
how it
That's
works.
great. That's great. Yeah. So, the gaming world seems like it's changed. I mean, obviously, it's changed
Yeah.
a ton since when it started and when
Yes.
we were playing. And there were certain games that we connected to, back in the day, and I loved Guitar Hero and all that, and had all the games. But the first-person shooter ones. I just couldn't control the goddamn gun.
Oh, she's terrible at them.
Really? But that's how you guys are hanging out in
A
there.
lot of
What
times
do
it
you-
was Minecraft. That's what we started playing. 'Cause
Okay.
We got into the same group and stuff, started playing video games. And I was like, well, I just want to chill out tonight. I might have had a little bit of something.
Yep,
And,
weed.
Yeah. And then we'll start playing Minecraft because it's just such a very low-key, relaxing game that you can completely zone out to. And we join in the same world and start building a house or something, just fucking around.
So I'm familiar with Minecraft because
Yeah.
Marshy plays
I
it.
know.
My nephew.
My kids love that game.
Yeah, and he's like really good friends with the neighbor kids,
Yeah.
right? There's brother and sister, and they're both in college now. Okay, and he's 8 now. He just turned 8 in December.
Oh, wow.
And he like goes over there, and they legit hang out and play these games. Like they're totally on the same level with this. And I'm like, how could you have fun at 22 hanging out with an 8-year-old? But they love it,
Oh yeah.
and they can totally.
Yeah. If you can play the game, man, most of the time it's like you're 31, I'm 25. It's like we just got along.
Yeah.
There's no really big thing on age. If you're playing the same game, you're having a great time. It's just a great time.
Yeah. He's in a lot of those groups too. He's watching YouTube videos round the clock. And I don't know, man. It's not my fucking kid. So I'm like, hey, whatever. How you raise him, I tell my brother, how you raise him, whatever. But I'm hearing these like grown ass men doing the gaming stuff, and it's got millions and millions
yeah.
of views.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if this is appropriate. I wouldn't want this kid listening to my show, but
Some of them tame it down. I mean, you depends on who he's watching. I know there's some guys who are just like their content's made for the kids or whatever, so they'll play like lower key games and swear a lot less. But there's
Yeah.
some like the people I watch or something you don't want to play up for a game.
yeah. And they'll kick you out of that stuff if you're.
yeah.
That's crazy how this world's getting with language, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like nobody can take a joke. Like, have you guys ever been thrown off for?
Well, like I said, I think I was texting you the other day.
Yeah.
On, Call of Duty, and like they implemented that feature that you agreed to that they can just ban you for voice chat. So it's like anything you say in a game can get recorded, played back to the guys, and if they don't like it up at the company, they'll just kick you out. So you gotta get creative with your trash talking now.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you do?
I think I told you one of my favorite
Yeah,
insults
yeah,
is you single mother. I hope they raise your rent. It's so
That's,
No
like,
swearing.
Devastating,
Yep.
though.
Nothing like that.
There's no coming back from that.
Devastating.
It is. He's like,
Yeah.
it's not offensive to anyone. I was like, I don't know if I'd go that far. That's pretty harsh. It's pretty
It's
funny.
harsh, but it doesn't offend any like
Doesn't cross
anyone
any
in
real lines.
particular.
Yeah.
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 Not even
So,
single moms?
oh, I bet there's some
moms
single
out there,
moms
yeah.
out there that have,
Well, I hope they raise their rent.
Exactly.
yeah, if they're not in rent-controlled areas, they could be in some trouble.
Definitely.
For sure.
just
Now,
such a
did you
niche
know that Marina was trans when you first met her,
Well,
or did
first-
you not know?
So first we were on Voice or something. I think I made a comment about like shut up,
He made a
woman.
comment.
I think I said something like "shut up, woman" or whatever when we were playing video games. I was just joking around and something. And she's like, "I got news for you, motherfucker."
No.
My dick's bigger than yours,
Yep,
sir.
that's when we became friends.
Yeah.
I remember it a little bit differently, but sure.
Okay, maybe.
Go ahead. Let's hear. Let's hear your.
Let's hear the real
version.
story.
Let's hear. Yeah. Let's. We know how men are.
The first time he saw pictures of me, or even on voice
Yeah.
chat, you called me wife. That's,
Oh, yeah, I
that's
was like,
my
"What's up,
wife. And I'm
I was
like,
fucking with her.
okay, yeah. And then there were more, the more we talked on webcam with a bunch of our friends. I guess you noticed the Adam's apple or something. You
Oh, yeah.
noticed.
I called you.
And you called me out. You were the only one that called me out in a group of 8 men and great people, eight people in chat.
Yeah.
And you were like, "Are you trans?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Really?
I
I'm a
kept
chick
making the
with
call.
a dick. What's up? You
I
know?
kept calling you a woman.
See,
for
we
long, trying
can't
to
say
miss
that though. If we said chick with a dick, we could get in a lot of trouble.
I could imagine. Is it appropriate that I say it?
Of
yeah,
course,
of
yes.
course.
Okay, cool,
Say
'cause I
anything you
said
want.
Did you not listen to any of our show?
Oh, please. I know, exactly.
I prefer dudes with tits.
Yes, or dude with tits.
There
which
you go.
is Really,
Chicks with
really
dick
good.
sounds better than dude with tits.
Well, 'cause
you.
it rhymes.
They-
So there's that.
Yeah, and that's an important one. The rhyming aspect
Yeah,
of it.
yeah. Flows.
It seems like that community. First off, I think can we be done with adding letters to the?
I've
like,
been like
do
that
you guys
too.
get sick of that too?
Of course.
oh, yeah.
Okay.
Years
I thought
ago.
the plus was supposed to cover that.
Cover
You put the
everything.
plus, and that was sort of all inclusive, just going forward. It was sort of like dot
And
dot
plus, dot, dot,
right?
dot.
etc.
Yeah.
You know,
No.
at all, whichever. But no, they want to put the plus and then still keep adding letters. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you on that as well.
And Troy, you brought it up the other day about gay only refers to men. And I was like, no, it doesn't. Gay is,
Gay's a
and you
genre.
said, no, gay,
Right, well,
gay
gay-
and
right.
lesbian.
Exactly,
Like,
but
why
they-
do they have a separate letter if lesbian is just gay?
Gay and Lesbian Alliance or whatever the hell that is
Yeah.
they separate the two.
Yeah.
But I technically understand gay and lesbian is gay.
Well,
but-
LGBT. I mean, lesbian, gay, bi,
Yep, exactly.
trans,
It's like it's separate, but it's
queer,
So I guess it's
intersex.
just a way to
Number two.
separate just male gay, I guess. but-
Asexual. Now
Asexual.
Is part of that too. Demi, queer, all that stuff.
Demi-queer?
I don't know what it is. Okay. I'm
Even more lost.
Come on, you're the one that's got to inform
Once they start adding
us.
too many.
If you don't know what it is,
Didn't get
we're
the newest update. I'm not sure where we're at anymore.
Exactly. I missed the memo on that one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I imagine it's got to get confusing.
There's
even
not like a
for-
newsletter or anything that you guys subscribe to? Nothing? Doesn't
I
come
haven't
out?
found it yet.
Twitter?
That's about it.
No, I mean it's got to get confusing to like the community as a whole. Like most gay or trans people that I've hung out with personally, I really enjoy their company. They're just fun people. You know what I mean? Like, but
Because you're hanging out with them because they're good people, not because they're gay
or
or trans.
Thank you.
Right. That's you choose
Right.
the company that you keep.
But even ones that it wasn't my call. You know, my ex-girlfriend happened to be friends with someone who was trans and in a lesbian relationship. It's like we're going out and spent the day on the town and had a fucking blast. It was great.
Nice.
You know, and gay people. I mean, you know, Jerry from the Jacks.
Jerry
I mean,
from the
he's-
Jacks.
He's fucking amazing, and he's the sweetest guy in the world. And you know, there's been gay people in and out of our worlds forever, and just awesome people. It doesn't seem like there's a good representation of that community right now with what you see in the media, on Twitter.
Yeah.
It seems like God, these aren't the people that I've interacted with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seem to be whiny little fucking bitches about everything.
Yeah.
And I don't understand, but you know, it's hard because if we even say the wrong thing, especially as cisgendered white males, like
You're not allowed to.
you're not allowed to. I mean, we do it here anyways, but you
As
know,
you should.
Yeah, but if this
Yeah.
show got big enough, we'd be in a world of hurt.
Yeah, I could imagine.
But
It's
I
about
don't-
having the conversations more than anything else.
Right?
That's the offensive part about it, is that you can't even have the conversation.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
That's the part I hate.
not
the
even
most.
being negative. It's a conversation to have. You're not even allowed to have the conversation, and that is a problem.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's offensive to people like us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
conversation havers.
Yeah. We have conversations for a living. It's
your whole job.
And have fun with it, you
That's the
know?
thing. I feel like there should be a representation of cisgendered, men and women who are our allies.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've got a lot of friends of mine that are straight and they love me to death. And they've even mentioned that. It's like, I want to be a part of this community, but I feel like it's difficult for me to get into it because I'm labeled as this.
Yep.
And if the LGBTQ community is going to do anything, they really need to start accepting that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not this like, oh, you don't know my struggle. No, listen to my story, and then we can just hang out.
Yeah.
Like
you have gaming in common.
Yeah,
exactly.
Who knows what we have in common? Bitching about the airlines.
Oh, fuck
It's a
yeah.
good start, right?
There with you.
Arizona, Detroit now, like there's all kinds of things. And who knows what else you're into that we're into. And I've often found myself doing stories on the show, and we try to do an array of things so it's not just the same thing every day. But, a lot of times I find myself going, you're losing me, okay? I would be an ally and a friend, but fuck off. Don't act like any slip up is some cardinal sin that, we need to cancel people, fire people, you can't hang out with them anymore. And I'm sure I'm not the only one feeling that way.
No, you're not. I'm right there with you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should just be able to talk about shit. Who gives a shit about anything else? Just talk.
Yeah.
About it. Express
And
it.
if you know what, believe it or not, a trans person can be an asshole too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Quite
Right?
so.
Just because you're trans or gay doesn't mean it's exclusive that you're not allowed to be a prick or an asshole. or,
It's not a free pass to the cool club.
no.
Oh, no. Still got to earn that ticket.
Exactly. I feel like a real missed opportunity for that community was the Dave Chappelle stuff.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you've paid much attention to it, if you followed it, if you watched his latest
watched-
special.
I haven't seen his latest stuff. I've seen clips. I'm familiar with it enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
I'd be curious with those clips. If you're getting it, if you're getting the whole story, if you're getting out of context type things.
A lot of it was out of context.
Right.
Yeah.
This is what he said, but when you watch the whole special and it comes around full circle and you see the whole story, there's pizzas in there, but it's telling a whole story that's not representative of. So that's what's curious when you get these clips, especially like, oh my God, that's what everything was blasted out there.
Yeah. If you take any comment that is put out by the media, that's why I love podcasting so much. I mean, I was in radio my whole adult career, and even though that was a wild morning show that we were doing a lot like this without kind of the language, so much of media is really taken out of context, right? That's the whole game. It's to gin people up, make people angry, and so if you could get even as basic information as the 15 seconds prior to that cut and the 15 seconds after that would give you a lot more context.
100%.
And with the Dave Chappelle thing, if you watch that special and weren't choked up and didn't want to fight for the trans community, there's something wrong with you. And I could guarantee, like the day it came out, there were protests and were Netflix walks and pickets and it was like, there's no chance you've watched this. Like I'd have respect for if you watched it, but it's a beautiful love story to a friend of his that was trans that ended up committing suicide. It's a heart-wrenching story.
Yeah.
And to just go, what a transphobe asshole piece of shit. It's like, okay, you're losing me now.
Yeah.
Because I at least gave it the time of day to watch it. And, it just seems really unfair and unproductive.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I don't know if you feel like that, if you guys
do.
have talks about that. Does the friends of yours, I'm assuming you have trans friends?
Yeah, I definitely do have trans friends in all kinds of different stages of transition. And a lot of them are doing the thing where they take things out of context and they jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's just to feel accepted or to be a part of a community. Well, my friends are saying this, so I'm going to say what they say. It's like high school all over again.
Right. Right.
So I'm the kind of person to get the whole story.
I feel like there's a responsibility, and not to tell anyone what to do, but I feel like there's almost a responsibility on the community, especially if you're going to lump everybody into this alphabet long game, and I mean, it really involves not just the trans community, the gay community, or whatever, the newest term of the day is.
The next letter.
Yeah.
The next letter. It's involving a lot of people. And so a lot of people are lumped into this. And unfortunately, if Troy or I say something and go, well, that's asinine, that doesn't make any sense, or you didn't even give that a shot before you ruled it, outrageous and something to be all worked up and offended about. If we were to say that, we're bigots.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, as much as you need our help, we need your help too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In shutting down these people that are just out of control at this
Yeah.
point, they feel like. And not helping the stigma, I'm sorry, about mental health.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was a comment I was going to make.
Yeah. Go ahead. I don't mean to keep blathering
you're
on,
good.
but
I've noticed that too. A lot of my trans friends in the transgender community, there's a lot going on upstairs.
Yeah.
That affects their judgment to get into that.
And that's what happened to me with the mental health, is that I was starting to go down the trans road, and maybe, it's something that worked for you, but for me, it became, it was hiding my mental health. And that's when I had to step back and work on my mental health. And once I did that, I realized I was a lot happier how I am than I would be if I made a lot of life-altering decisions that could have really brought me right down the hole to suicide, probably.
yeah.
This
yeah.
didn't just happen. I went to a psychiatrist, talked to a psychiatrist for months before I started making those choices.
Yeah, you say you had your boyfriend kind of helped unlock this or whatever,
yeah.
at least it expose you to it or make you more aware, however that went down.
Yeah.
And you have friends in Phoenix, you said, helping you dress up and all that kind of stuff. Did you have much of experience with the online community like
yeah.
Garrett did? I mean, with that sort of influence? Or was it really more just organic and IRL, as they say?
It was a mix of both, to be honest.
Yeah.
Is that in real life?
Yeah.
Okay.
IRL,
Boomer.
yes.
See what I did there?
Hell yeah, boomer.
Good job. Hey, impressive.
No, what were you saying? I feel like we cut you off there. I don't want to do that.
It was both. It was organic and also, online influence. I didn't always just sit there and talk to my friends about it. I did my own research.
Yeah.
And I looked at the way my mom dressed and my sister. A lot of my feminine, cohorts, I would say dress a certain way, and I'm like, I love how that looks, and that's how that kind of worked with me.
Yeah.
So I became a fashionista because I hang out with all these people who are very fashionable.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I started with the fishnets and going the hardcore goth. And then I'm like, well, I could look like a chick and look presentable.
Yeah.
Just
There you
put
go.
on this, that, this, and this. And hey, look at that. And I'm more passable this way. I've
Yeah.
got girlfriends of mine in Scottsdale that, before I got on to Detroit to see you guys, to see you, it's like, I want to make one little comment, just work on your makeup a little bit. You've got an evening look, my darling. Do that like this, and you'll look more natural. You've got so much beauty naturally. You don't have to look like a hooker.
Yeah.
And I
defining
gave them
style.
so much love because we need to hear that.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
I'm going through this alone for most of it. I want
Sure.
it, I need to, if I look like a hooker, tell me please, for the love of God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless I'm going for the look. then
Right,
that's
the
different.
whole drag, way over the
Yes.
top type look and that extravagant makeup, but
Yeah.
if you're trying to
Yes.
do it on the passable day-to-day life.
And that's the thing too, is when I'm picking my makeup or my outfits, there's so much online influence to look sexy, to look
Yeah.
like this, like, oh, look how I did my makeup, and it's very flamboyant and like this on different YouTubers that I follow. But there's a lot of rarity when it comes to look at my natural look. So I've had to learn to, be more effeminate by looking at different things. So I'm working on
Yeah.
stuff even right now.
Well, it's a
You know.
style thing, just like anything
Exactly.
else. I'm a fan of X. I like Michael Jordan and his shoes, so I'm getting his shoes. It's no different.
I can imagine actually trying to put makeup on. Like if I had all the makeup in the world and tried to just do it,
It would be clownish.
It would be a clown show.
Clown
it
show.
would absolutely come out that way.
So Garrett's mom has all the makeup in the world. And,
All right, there you
in
go.
her, loft.
She
there.
did raise Garrett.
toy chest.
I mean, it's answering a lot of questions.
Yeah, so she's like, "Here, use all this," and it's you got to find your things, and then it works. But it was a trip. It took. A
I
long
like
time
it.
to-
It's subtle. It's not like over the
It's
top
so hard to
fucking
get
look
subtle.
at me. At all.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Did you have support from family growing up? Did they kind of know? Did you come out to them? Was that hard?
It was difficult.
Yeah.
I recently started coming out to my mom and my dad.
Recently?
And my sister recently.
Like how
last
recently?
year in
Really?
May when I first started taking. I came out to my mother in June and I started taking the injection, the pellets that go under your skin in May.
What is that? What are those?
That's the estrogen.
The estrogen?
Yes,
Yeah.
I get estrogen pellets inserted into my buttocks on this side or on this side, depending. And a month later, I started talking to my mom about it. I came out to her as trans, and
Yeah.
I'm like driving to go on a date with this guy, and I'm just like pouring out to her in the car, ruining
how
my
did she-
I was
makeup.
gonna say redo the makeup.
Yeah.
She said she loved me and everything, but it was a lot to take over the phone. She cried apparently, and there was
Yeah.
she's taking it very rough. 'Cause
So
her son,
were you out as gay before
No,
that?
I wasn't.
No.
No, there was not a lot of support. There was not a lot of anything
In
like that.
Miami, in Broward County?
Well, I
you're
was
talking
raised
about family.
Catholic,
Yeah.
and I was raised with
Oh,
Hispanic
yeah.
parents, and there
Okay.
was
Yep.
a certain machismo
Yeah.
for the men in the family. So I was raised with the army cuts.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of positivity came from this. I'm a gun advocate. We went
All right.
shooting.
Yeah, went shooting yesterday.
You know, he
Nice.
was impressed.
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
I
You
was
are
able
too,
to
Garrett.
You
hit a
shot
target.
nothing but the dick.
Yeah, I have preferences. So
I
a
am
lot
now in
of
fear.
Exactly. I can hold myself up if I go camping or anything like that. I've slept in my car a couple times. You know, it
Sure.
works. You know, so I needed that masculinity in order to become who I am.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of acceptance there.
Is your
with that.
dad around or
My dad's alive. He's around. He's in Florida.
he is?
He loves me to death.
Great.
It was rougher when I was growing up. You know,
Yeah.
there was a lot of like abuse. I turned 18, and the first thing that happened was prom night. We were taking prom pictures, and one of the things he asked was, "Are you going to cut your hair?" And my hair was like this, and I looked at him like, "No, I'm not cutting my hair. My hair is going to be long, just like this. I like it like this."
Yeah.
Well, I don't like the way you look. I'm like, well, what do you mean you don't like the way I look? I like the way I look. What does
Yeah.
that have to do with you? And it just erupted from there. And then I'm on the floor. Then I'm on a chokehold.
Oh shit.
You know, and I'm screaming, and I've got my hand around his neck, holding him down. And my mom is screaming at me to stop. My sister's screaming at me
Screaming
to
at
stop.
you to
They're
stop?
screaming at me.
Why would they be screaming at you?
Must have been winning.
Yeah.
I left
Yeah.
a mark on my dad.
Oh boy.
But after that, I got his necklace, and I got him. I had to, I had to protect myself. He was
attacked.
choking me,
Yeah. Yeah.
and for what? And the whole time after that, I'm like, how could you do that to your only son? I'm your son.
Yeah.
Even if I look effeminate,
Yeah.
I'm your fucking son.
Do you
don't
still
touch me.
consider yourself your dad's son, your mom's son, or is that
I don't.
gone now?
Christian's dead to me.
Christians,
and
okay.
That's difficult for them to take. I know it is. The whole family is still.
Yeah.
Except they don't even refer to me as Christian. I mean, they refer to me as Christian, excuse me, but they don't refer to me as Marina. They don't refer to me as she. I'm their son.
Yeah.
Even when I'm dressed like this, which I get.
That'll change. I imagine that'll change with
exactly.
so
many years, it
This
does
is
get hard.
still
Yeah.
new.
Yeah. They'll get used to it
And-
just like anything else.
Of course, and
Yeah.
I don't have any animosity to that. I'm giving them a lot of time. My sister loves me to death, supports me like crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't talk to her for years because I was discovering who I was. I
Is
wore
this a younger
mask.
sister or older sister?
6 years older than me.
6 years older. Okay.
Yeah, and I apologized to her because a lot of things happened, and I had to look at myself too. It's like, well, what am I doing? Am I helping this situation, or am I making it worse? Am I shutting them out because they don't accept me, or am I not even giving them a chance? I didn't even come out to them.
Yeah.
And
I can't imagine what that would be like. Honestly, I've tried to put myself in that mental headspace, like, try to put myself in someone else's shoes. Like, my family would have been 100% accepting. They just would have. They would have loved me no matter what, and I knew that. But that would have been a nightmare of a conversation for someone like me.
Yeah.
I can't imagine if you had, I just didn't grow up in a household that would have thrown around the word faggot or homo or anything
I
like
did.
that. You did.
I did. Yeah.
I didn't, but back then that would have been common.
Oh, yeah.
My parents, for whatever reason, maybe because they grew up in San Francisco and
Oh, yeah.
kind of have that liberal hippie vibe to them. They just didn't, talk like that. And so I didn't grow up around it, but you heard that around all the time. It was like calling someone bro or dude.
Yeah.
Someone's acting like a pussy, you call them a fag or whatever.
Exactly.
That's how it was. It was always in joke. It was like every time
Yeah.
you insulted in my house, they were joking with you. No one really
Yeah.
honestly insulted you to hurt you.
No.
So it kind of made me grow up with a thicker skin, and that's why I love shows like this.
Yeah. Well, I imagine it's got to be really hard. And did you know how your parents would react? Did you have an idea, like my sister's probably going to be cool. My mom will probably be okay. My dad's going to have a problem with this.
When it first started, I'm like, well, I live in Arizona and they live in Florida. So if they don't accept me or love me, well, I'm fine because I'm over here.
Was that part of the move?
It was,
Get
yes.
away
When I
first
was,
start. Yeah.
I came over because I needed to be myself. I was tired of being somebody else.
I get it.
This whole thing was just identity, and it took years to get to this.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm still figuring things out. Of
course.
You know,
Yeah.
so
do you think you'll go full transition someday?
I think I'm definitely going for top surgery. Still iffy about the bottom surgery thing because I mean financing is one thing, but
If financing was off the table, if that wasn't an issue, did a GoFundMe and raised $35,000
that'd
or
be
whatever.
fun.
Yeah.
it's like 100. So,
Well, yeah, you're right. It can be. But again, there's programs and stuff.
yeah.
I wonder, how much you know about that surgery.
I know quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most people don't. It's not pretty.
No, it's not.
A lot of it is very, and I imagine just like anything, it gets better with time. The more surgeons are doing it.
Of course.
But it's, we've done very invasive discussions about what bottom surgery entails, and there's a lot of people that choose not to go down that road. And I wonder how much of the community knows exactly what that entails, because I read horror stories, the hidden dangers of gender affirming care. I mean, I've got
So much.
a stack of these stories and people that are having really pretty radical, I mean, not pretty, it's just flat radical surgeries, and maybe don't know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
What do you think about bottom surgeries? I mean, outside of the cost of it, which is obviously steep.
Yeah, it's risky and dangerous. I don't think I'm going to go down that route, to be honest with you. I actually take some pride in
Yeah.
being, a dude with, a chick.
Chick with
I go
dick.
by chick
Passable.
with a dick. I'm sorry. I go with that. I'm going to get top surgery, but I'm going to keep what's down there.
Yeah.
And
And that could change.
it can change. That's very true. But as I stand, I'd rather just keep it for now because that's so dangerous. I don't want to end up with a dry socket.
Yeah.
Or I can't get, aroused, or I can't engage in sex.
Right.
There's so much danger in that, and I don't want to. I'd rather deal with what I got going on now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you surprised anybody with it yet?
Oh no, all the men that I've been with.
I was going to say,
Swear
that's not a
to
good
God.
idea.
That's
We've
where I
talked-
was
about to
exactly
ask.
where I was going next.
It
No.
just doesn't sound like a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
curious.
what do you do with that? These are all things like asking someone on a date for anyone is hard. It's intimidating. I don't care how old you are, how young you are. The fear of rejection, the fear of that reality is real. I can't even imagine. First off, being gay and trying to figure out who else is gay. I mean, you go to certain clubs and obviously it gets easier. You could speak to that, Garrett. But being a transgender person, I gotta, because like I said out the gate, you're very passable.
Oh, thank
if I ran into you at a bar, I wouldn't assume, oh, that's a transgender woman. I wouldn't. So I don't know if you've had to deal with it, or if you've deal with that, or if you've even played that out in your head. Like, if someone doesn't know or just asks you out, they're at a bar, they're at the library, wherever, and they ask you out, at what point do you feel, maybe even just for your own safety, like, I have to be completely honest, I can hide this for a while?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been approached several times in different places, and it's always in the back of my head. I'm like, okay, I need to go to a public place where people are.
Yeah.
So I'll just like nod my head, I'm like, yeah, and just like passively dismiss them, or I'll fidget with my watch here to send me an update on my phone, and it makes a noise. Hey, I got a call. I got to take it real quick. I have a business meeting.
Brilliant.
I pop it up,
Yeah.
because I have to protect myself, and I do. So I've got pepper spray and all that stuff on, and I've been talking to him about getting, a small arm on myself too. But I've had that happen. Most of my dating has
You've
been
had
through
what
apps.
happen? Where someone doesn't know, or
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's never a Well, when I first started, it was a negative thing. But as I got more passable, I got a better body going thing, it became more acceptable, which was interesting to me, actually.
Yep.
If I look like a chick, then it's okay. But if I don't...
You'd be surprised how often that happens.
Exactly.
What do you
Guys-
mean?
Like guys who are like, well, I'm straight, but if it looks feminine enough, it's just
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I would use dating apps mostly because I was aware of my safety as well. And
So
I-
then are like on your profile then, is it say like transgender woman, Marina?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And I'd still get matched with dudes who are like, "Oh, you're a chick." Like, no, and it says it right there.
Yeah.
You know, there's empty female trans. I was always very like, "This is it."
It
What do you
seems like
want?
the safest way to do it. Because you've heard us do those stories.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like, I'm sorry, but what did you think was going to happen?
Yeah, you
like
surprise the
you
guy and he
surprise
flips out.
someone, and all of a sudden, I wouldn't kill someone, I wouldn't punch someone, but goddamn, I know a lot of people who would that
Oh,
would
for sure.
freak them the fuck out.
Yeah.
That they wouldn't be cool with just having that sprung on them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just an
I'm
added
very-
element of danger, I guess, and,
Yeah.
and caution.
There always was. I'm very fortunate that it's never gotten to that point. And I made a lot of mistakes. I probably shouldn't, have given this guy my address. I have stalkers, like on my phone even. I'm constantly blocking numbers, text randomly from guys.
What are they?
Hey, baby. Hey, beautiful. From random numbers, random burner phone
it's
numbers.
mostly me.
No, well, if it is. But I get that all the time. And, from years, I'm like, I know who this is.
Yeah.
So,
Are there places? Are there clubs, kind of like you were talking about in college, that are good resources now for people? Like, is there someone telling you, like, hey, by the way, here's a support group, and while we're in here, whatever you do, if you're going on a date, you make sure you're upfront about this for your own safety. Are there people like that have walked these steps before that are kind of telling young trans people or people, because you're fairly new into this, say a year?
well, I've known about trans stuff since I was in my 20s, but my physical transition was,
Right. Yeah,
last year in May is when I started with estrogen, but before
Yeah.
that I dress up. But yeah, it's still early in my transition, you're right. I imagine there are communities and stuff like that. I know in churches, my girls in Scottsdale, they bring me to church. And they
Really?
have an
Churches?
LGBT Yes, and
You
there's
need
a lot of...
Jesus.
It's surprising. It's surprising, believe it or not. It's been positive.
Good.
It's like, hey, Jesus loves you. Come here and be accepted. And there's a lot of LGBTQ that go to church
Really?
for that. And
Yeah.
that's a whole thing too that I've been talking to my girls about. It's like, there's a lot of love here, and there's a lot of negativity and media presented by Christians. There's a lot of like hateful Christians, but a lot
Oh,
of good
yeah.
ones are out there, are loving and accepting, and a lot of them are cisgendered, and they just want to be allies.
And a lot of that is kind of the same way, other way around, where it's like a lot of the trans people are looking at, or the gay community is looking at a lot of cis people like, oh, they're just trying to hate us. They don't want us around them. We need to fight for our rights and stuff. They're keeping us down. When it's a matter of fact, it's just like the church is accepting of gay people. There's the same thing going
Yeah.
on where the gay people are accepting of the church. And there's just a common ground that if everybody really stopped and talked to each other, you'd find that common ground and actually have really big communities.
Yeah.
It's that
sure.
vocal minority.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah, which is what gets the headlines.
exactly.
Exactly.
And we know that, and I try to remind myself of that, because I can get worked up. I have I can, and Troy bags me again, really, and we've got a you want to show
I
her
already
the-
pulled
Oh, it
it
was
up.
already up.
yeah. Oh, was it? Was it? It has been this.
There we go.
Whatever. This is what he plays every time I start doing a trans story, because I was doing so many of them, but it seemed like a never-ending onslaught of. I felt attacked. Almost. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't
yeah.
accept this, you're that. It's like, well, I'm not that. Fuck you. How dare you? But I have opinions too, and I don't know how you feel about the sports debate that goes on. I don't know if you're into sports at all, but
Oh, like if a woman is male to female, should she
Right.
compete?
right.
Yeah. Oh, so that's a heavy topic. I
It
mean,
seems like an easy one to me, honestly.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, please.
it does. It seems like there are physical differences between the male and the female body. Period. We've known that forever, and so not that some people aren't authentic. I believe that there are absolutely authentic transgender people, just like there are authentic gay people and authentic whatever. But people will take advantage of things too.
Of course.
If I was going to prison, I often say it. That's the day I would be
yeah.
out as a transgender woman. Like, whatever I got to do to get into the female population prison, I would take advantage of that system.
Of course.
You know, and I don't know how many people are doing that. They're a mediocre men's swimmer, you know, and all of a sudden they're taking titles away from women, or, you know, winning, you know, Female of the Year awards. And I don't know how you feel about that stuff, but some of that seems...
Why not have a separate thing for
Wow.
that?
Yeah,
Men's,
you can't
women.
do that.
That's a slippery slope because,
Isn't it?
well, I mean, because then you're saying that a trans woman is not a real woman,
Oh, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah,
right?
down
So
route.
that therein lies the rub of that, where that's not an acceptable answer either. You know, identifying doesn't change your muscle mass and your bone density and things like that,
Exactly.
right? So there are those differences, but you're right. I mean,
Yeah.
if that's you how you live and how you're totally identify, then it's not fair necessarily that you can't compete on that level. It is. It's when you say that's a heavy conversation, it actually is. It can be very cut and dry, and that
I think
trans men shouldn't be in that sport.
Yeah.
But it's not just that easy.
Yeah.
But ultimately,
I think there's competitive things that men and women, you know, women will kick a guy's ass in Jeopardy constantly.
Yeah.
If you're talking about mental games, if you're talking about chess, whatever, you're talking about a contestant on Jeopardy, you know, whatever. Men and women can equally compete. But when you're talking about, especially when you get into really physical sports, you know, Joe Rogan famously had that issue with, I think it was a male to female trans fighter, right?
yes,
And
MMA fighter, right?
MMA fighter, but I don't think she told people at first.
No, she didn't. And she ended up nearly killing one
Killing
of the other
some-
female
yeah.
fighters.
Yeah.
That's when it became a huge problem.
And Rogan was just like, this is outrageous. I mean, this is someone who grew up, went through puberty as a male. You can't throw them in an octagon with a, you know.
With a female.
With a female, and it's just not fair. You're going to get someone killed.
There's still those fundamental differences.
Yeah.
that,
Exactly.
the bone density, the
can't-
way that your body is built, the way that you grow.
it just can't be ignored.
Yeah.
Men are
I
just
mean-
built a little bit wider at the top, broader shoulders.
Yeah,
and punch
shoulders. That's where the center of
Yes.
gravity is for a man, is the shoulders, and it's the hips, you know, for obvious for
harder. So if all my
childbirth and
gravity's up
whatnot.
here, I'm throwing a way harder punch than the girl in front.
Yeah, and you have longer reach, and you have there's all kinds of physical advantages if you're talking about that kind of thing.
Yep.
But what I found, what we've seen continually, is if you even have an issue with it, it's like, well, you're a bigot and a transphobe, and it's like, no. First off, no. I'll be an ally to anybody, but don't act like there's not an argument to be made here. You know, if you want to present an argument that says, you know, here's why I think it's fair, blah, 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 or, you know, we can have that conversation, but to just shut it down as bigotry or transphobia seems fraudulent to a lot of people and offensive,
That's
honestly.
usually how you know when it is. When you don't get to have the conversation,
Right.
it's because it's probably not going to go the right way.
Yeah.
So it's just shut it down.
Yeah.
It goes across everything, not just this, but you know, when you get censored out real quick, it's because there's not much on the other side to defend it.
One of the other things that's we've done plenty of discussion on and seen a lot of, and I'd be interested in your take on it. I don't know if you have a take on it, but a lot of these, you know, trying to get into the elementary school, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and under the guise of we're being an ally to the trans community, but you know, I have zero issue with a story like yours where you're like, well, I felt something growing up, and you're talking about someone in their late teens, 20s, going forward and making a decision for yourself that is healthy and for you. Awesome. No problem with that. We often talk about, and I stand by this, and I'm talking about kids in my own family. Children are the dumbest people on earth. They're the
100%.
most malleable. They're the most, they're going to fall for peer pressure way more than
Yes.
anybody that's lived a little. And it seems like an unfair target to, under the guise of being an ally, going after them. I don't know how you feel about it, if you know what I'm talking about.
So like with like young kids saying that I feel like a girl and I want to transition? Like
Yeah,
that?
specifically like Libs of TikTok has posted plenty of these videos, but where you've got a teacher who's rainbow-colored hair, like the absolute,
Gay shit.
you know what they are. Like, okay, I get it. You've got the trans flag and you got the rainbow flag all over your classroom. You seem to be someone with an agenda, and you give this heartfelt speech to the camera on your phone saying, I talked to them all about gender and about the myriad genders that there are, and 3 kids came out as trans in my class today. And you're like, so you had 3 kids legitimately come out as trans in your first grade class? I don't buy it.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Outside influences.
Exactly.
Yeah, it seems like
Do you feel like that takes away from the true transgenders? I mean, like, I mean,
Yeah.
Muddy in the Waters or whatever. So, it's just
Yeah.
It's being way overused now, I think, and it takes away from the credibility on some level of the real.
Yeah, it does take away from the credibility of that. There's transgender people who transition in their 50s and 60s.
Of course.
It's when you feel it's the right time, it's the right time. But when I was younger, I had no brains for it.
No.
I assumed I was just this. I was just gay, gay, gay.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I needed to live a little bit of life. I think you should live a little bit of life before you make a life-altering decision.
Yeah.
Because even then you'll have regrets.
Yeah.
But you're old enough to have those thoughts and maturity in your head going,
Of course.
you know what? I really need to, like, if I was held to account for every stupid decision I made, most of us have a story of a regrettable tattoo.
Of course.
Like, that's as far as it goes. When you're 18 and first time you walk into a tattoo shop and you get the dumb thing on the wall instead of something that really means something to you, or is about, you don't even know who the hell you are now. When you talk about children transitioning and putting kids without their parents' knowledge at 12 years old on puberty blockers, how do you feel about that?
Oh my gosh, no. I think they need to live a little bit of life. Puberty blockers. There's so much to that. Oh my gosh, no. I mean, yeah, I get it. If I had the opportunity to be on puberty blockers at the time, if I had the experience, like I knew I was trans, then yes, I would have loved that back then. But I had no idea.
That's the Pandora's box of it.
Yeah,
exactly.
In the perfect situation, yes.
Yeah.
But there's just too many unknowns. There's
Well,
too
when
many
you see
variables.
hundreds of % increase in people coming out, nowadays it's like, okay, is that legit? Like people were staying in the closet for fear of how society would view them? Or is it something different? Is it peer pressure? Is it, I just don't believe that all of a sudden 3 kids in a first grade class would come out to their teacher as transgender after the teacher talked about
Exactly.
all these trans issues. Like, kids believe all kinds of dumb shit.
Exactly.
And when you want to remove parents from the decision making, I mean, as a parent, Troy, I don't think you would have taken that very
Girl dad.
well. You're a girl dad. Yeah, 2 daughters. I don't think you would have taken that very well if you found out that the school was was letting your girls.
Especially a lot of it now that's going behind the parents' back. That's,
right.
That's where the issue is just insane.
That's
Caregivers.
a big
You're just
problem for me
caregivers.
because if if I went behind my parents' back with the whole thing I never told my mom, it's very possible I could have really fucked myself up before I figured out what was actually going on with me and where to get the real help I needed.
Yeah, for 100%. And can you imagine? I don't even know what the lawsuits would look like if a young Garrett, if this was being hidden by school counselors and teachers, and it wasn't working because they're not really close to
they're
you.
not
They
my
don't
mom,
love you. They're not your mom, your
They
dad.
haven't raised me my whole life.
You got them for 9 months,
Exactly.
and that's it. And you're moving on to the next class.
And they don't necessarily see tiny little behavioral changes in you that your mom would recognize or a brother or a sister would recognize, like something's off here, where they wouldn't recognize it because they haven't been around you more than an hour a day for the last year. You know what I mean? Like, and if that wasn't working, whatever they thought was best, and you did commit suicide, that's on them, man. And that's, I can't even imagine. I mean, you'd want to kill a teacher.
Oh, yeah.
Never thought I'd say
might.
that, but you would.
Yeah.
It seems like an obvious thing.
It does.
Yeah. But at the same time, go ahead.
May I use the restroom? I'm
Yes,
sorry.
Of course.
Please,
Yeah.
please. It's you know where it is.
Yes, thank you.
Are you going to be standing up or sitting down?
It's like,
Standing up.
put the seat up.
Hey.
She's great, man.
I know, it's
Absolutely.
a great
You're
friend of mine.
right. Yeah.
Like I said, I wouldn't bring any I wouldn't really be friends with anyone if I couldn't make the same jokes I do with my.
Yeah.
I have a sense of humor about me, and I don't really have a filter to it. So if they were not going to be cool with that, we wouldn't be in the same group.
Not going to work.
No.
Well, it's a heavy topic.
It is.
You know what I mean? So it's not our normal, like, go through a story and rip it apart and shit all over everybody involved kind of thing. You want to do a read there, too?
Yeah, I think it's a perfect time for that.
Perfect.
Because, this part of the show is brought to you by your insurance expert. Are you paying too much for health insurance? Are you uninsured? Health insurance can be confusing. Nick Matthews from Your Insurance Expert is an expert in health insurance, life insurance, and Medicare supplements, so you don't have to be. Call Nick Matthews at 248-914-1173. That's 248-914-1173. I have an appointment tomorrow with him at 4 o'clock to talk about my life insurance.
Well.
You giving Mike all the benefits?
Oh, hell no. He gets nothing.
I get nothing.
Nope.
God, I was reading a story yesterday about, who was it? Donnie and Marie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Marie was given some interview or something and said, I'm giving nothing. I'm leaving nothing to my kids.
Really?
She's worth like $20 million.
Yeah, okay.
something
I
like
buy
that.
it. I'm not
There's a
sure how
long-running
that shit
joke.
works out, but yeah.
What's that?
There's a long-running joke in my house because my mom has a pretty good life insurance policy for my brother and I, and it's like every time she starts saying something like, you guys got to do this, do that, do that, I'm like, you got that life insurance policy.
Yeah, right?
Right? Don't get
You're-
too,
you're-
don't get too chippy,
don't-
Ma.
You might want to move into a house without stairs, Mom.
You go
if know
missing,
what I'm
that thing.
saying.
That thing pays out.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna burn this one too.
Go ahead.
Hey, did you know new car inventory is growing, and when inventory grows, so do the savings. Full lot means a better selection, and a better selection means dreamy deals. Best of all, when you visit our friends and OG sponsors at Zott Ford and Holly, you're going to get both. So if you bought out your lease in the past 2 years because there was nothing to choose from and the deal sucked, then today's your lucky day. There's no need to spend money on new brakes, tires, or maintenance. Just trade in that turd and get $2,000 more than it appraised for when you purchase or lease a new Escape, Edge, or Explorer at Zott Ford. As a matter of fact, you can trade in almost any used car and get the extra $2,000 when you get a new whip. Need more deals? How about 0% financing? That's correct, 0% financing on many new deals at Zott Ford in stock. In stock at Zott Ford, excuse me. Plus, our boy Gabar and the team will toss in a Ford factory tri-fold tonneau cover at no charge with every new F-150 you buy or lease in the month of January. Only got a couple weeks left, better hurry. Clearly, an expanding inventory generates beautiful bargains, and you can check out both when you go visit their deals. Visit dealsinthed.com.
Very good.
I can guarantee their fire extinguishers work.
Paid
'Cause I
bills.
just serviced them.
Oh, there
What's
you go.
that?
I just serviced their fire extinguishers. I can guarantee they work.
Is that what you're
Yeah,
doing?
oh
covered.
yeah, that's
Yep,
right.
that's
you
what
were
I'm
at
doing
you
now.
were at Zott. What is that? What does that mean? Like, just make sure they still work.
Who you with?
So I'm with Gallagher Fire, and
Oh, boy.
Do you know?
shout out to Chris, one of the guys who's also a big
Okay.
listener here. He's probably going
Mike.
to listen to this.
You know that?
Yeah.
What?
Gallagher Fire.
Yeah.
What? Is that?
Yeah.
No.
Yes. That was her dad's company.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we'll tell you off air.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean it's the fucking the when we worked in the daycare,
Okay.
Do you remember that story of us working
yes,
at the
yes,
daycare
yes,
together?
yep.
that was Gallagher.
Oh boy,
Yes.
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
funny.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That was Gallagher.
Well, now I work for them. But,
yeah. I think he sold it now though.
yeah, he did. He
It's-
sold
yeah.
it to Alan. He's running the place.
Yeah.
He's a really nice guy.
Yeah,
Love
yeah,
him.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was-
Didn't you get recognized or something?
Yeah,
Didn't you
one of
have
my
a fan?
coworkers was a big time listener, and he didn't really realize that I was on the show until he started talking about podcasts. I'm like, hey, do you like the TDC podcast? He's like, that's my favorite show. And I'm like, I'm the Woke Bay, right? He's like, no fucking way. He shook my hand. He was like, this guy's my boss. He was like, this guy's like a celebrity to me. I'm like, I don't want
It's
him.
the fucking woke thing,
That's
man.
awesome. Yeah.
It's so
Felt really
funny.
good.
I was thinking about when you first reached out to us.
Yep.
And I could still see your avatar,
Yeah, the little-
your image.
I
with
had the hair and everything. Yep.
yeah, the long blue hair, I think.
Yeah,
or
something like that.
Something like that. Makeup, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the Twitter. It was just where I was kind of, doing my experimenting. Then finally realized that wasn't for me.
Yeah, it's not me.
It was fun that,
See, that's fucking scary as hell to me.
Yeah.
Like the thought of getting close and then going, oh,
yeah,
like how many people have done that?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, depending on how close you get.
Yeah.
If it's after one of the surgeries or anything like that,
It's like you can't really go back from that.
no,
That's
you
why
can't go back
gotta-
from that, right?
And that's what I
better
agree
be
with
sure.
what Marina's saying, where it's like you really need to live more life experience before
Yeah.
you make that
Yeah.
decision.
She's probably gonna have way more fun with a chick with a dick than if she had the
yeah.
whole surgery anyway.
Fuck yeah.
That's what I think.
Right?
Yeah.
She deucing in there, fixing the makeup. What are we doing?
Probably fixing the makeup.
Yeah.
It's a lot of clothes too.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
She's
yeah,
got
sure.
layers on because Michigan, the Arizona, the Michigan weather
Hell yeah.
is so
Yeah,
different.
they don't like it here.
No.
You bring them here, even in the summer.
Yeah.
Like my brother and the warden, and they're just pussies now.
Yeah.
Come out here in the summer, it's 80 degrees.
Right.
They're like, oh my God, it's so cold out here.
I know. It's 70. Whoa. Chilly.
Yeah.
It's a dry heat.
Welcome back.
Thank you so much.
Of course. I like your hat.
Oh, thank you.
Hold on. You got one of the headphones.
What? Flippy floppy.
There you go.
I told her she should wear my old TDC hat, but
Well, I need a new one then, don't I?
Yeah, there you go.
Need to get you a new one.
We had some stock. We'd toss you one, but
Yeah.
we got nothing.
Bonjour.
we'll buy it.
I did want to talk to you about some of these stories. It's a weird thing when you're when we're talking about like putting kids on puberty blockers or it's tough because I do understand the concept behind it where you look at someone, like I don't know how much politics you follow, but there's a couple people in the Biden administration now who are transgender and they don't work well. They don't look passable in the least. And, they're older guys. The one dude was Rachel Levine.
Yeah. There you go.
Rick Levine was his name for 52 years.
Yeah.
And then transitioned, and he's Rachel Levine now. And he's not kidding anyone, And so if you were to get someone like that on puberty blockers or estrogen at an early age before everything sets in and you're fully developed, that can go a long way to making you passable.
Yeah.
But the question is, how many of these are authentic? Which is why it's like, okay, it's one thing with Marina. You're of legal age and you've gone long enough in your life to know where you feel comfortable, and
Exactly.
and that's fine. As an adult, that's fine. So I do get that weird argument of, well, shit, I'd be pissed at my parents if they didn't let me go through it, and then I go through male puberty, and now I sound like this, and I look like this, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
At the same time, it can have that opposite effect if it was just a phase.
Exactly, too.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to live life. You can't just choose at a young age, or maybe you'd have to incorporate a lot of therapy. They'd have to talk to a psychologist or psychiatrist and really feel if that's it. And then they just would find that out along the way. It's like, this might be a phase, or this might not. But then
there isn't
there's a lot of other
anything
things.
like mandatory in that process, is there? As far as any like counseling, I mean, before you go through like the surgeries, the transitions, any of that stuff, there isn't any like protocols. I mean, you could literally just go down and slap a check and just get it. I mean, right? I mean, there's no.
With the right doctor in the right place, you probably get anything done.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
do you think that would be beneficial as far as, I mean, no matter which age, what age, whatever, to almost have some sort of program in place to explain the pros and cons, to understand everything, to somebody that could really ask the questions, the real questions, to find out, weed out the attention seekers to the genuine.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know how that actually works, because you put that in the government's hand and it's fucked.
Yeah.
Just like
Yes.
everything else.
yeah.
But it
Exactly.
seems like that's just a common sense step in something like this, because it's kind of the wild, wild west right now.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that's where we're at. And you end up getting too many regrets, and it's not good for anybody. It's not. It's just not. It's not good for the medical system. It's not good for the communities. It's not good for the people.
It's not good for public trust
Right. It's
in
not
those
good for anything.
agencies.
Right. So I mean, there should, like I said, I'm not going to act like I know how that would work, but something like, I think that's a great step to have some sort of a process.
I agree.
You
It
know?
definitely should
You
be.
think that, and I'm sure that you feel like that would have helped you. I mean, to have the information, to have, but even that would be corrupted, I'm sure, on some level. You
Yeah.
put it in there, it would just be a grooming, just a conveyor line of just, here you go. All right, this
Right.
is what you're going to do.
Start
Check. Yeah. So, you know, you're a great example of that, Garrett,
Yep.
with the therapy and the counseling and
Yep,
stuff.
I stopped, listening to people on the internet and people that were trying to just encourage me. I was like, well, I want somebody to push me back and see how that feels. So I started going to therapists, and then I changed therapists multiple times before I found one that was actually challenging me on things I was saying.
Yeah.
It made me look at it a different
That's
way.
got to be so rare, though.
Because
Yeah,
It's got to be so rare.
so
People
rare.
want to feel immediate acceptance,
Yeah.
and they want someone to
just validate.
They want to validate and
everything.
affirm.
No, I
They
think it
want
was
someone
my
to affirm.
third
who-
therapist that was actually when I was telling them, like, I feel sad and stuff like that. And instead of just saying, like, oh, well, it's okay to feel sad sometimes, they'd be like, why?
Yeah.
You know, what's going on? What had you there?
Yeah.
And then you have to step back and look at things and start evaluating how you got to that spot. It started making me think about that with every aspect of my life.
Yeah. I've done mountains of drugs in my life. And
Nice.
I had multiple therapists, and I had to go through like 6 of them before I finally met someone that wasn't like, well, drugs are bad. You should just stop doing drugs. And I'm like, okay, you've never done drugs, and you don't have any clue how this fucking works.
You know how fucking awesome they are.
Yeah.
A therapist who's like,
Yes.
dude, heroin's sweet, but let me tell you something.
You need someone to push back and go,
Yes.
dude, I know you love it, but here's why we can't do that.
Yeah.
And blah, blah, blah. But it did take those. And I could have lied to myself and just said, yeah, I found a therapist. It's awesome. And no, but I don't know how many people will do that.
Yeah.
Will actually
Well, it's
put
hard.
the time
I
in.
think everyone wants immediate acceptance from everyone and immediate like, appraisal or praise.
Yeah.
And it's hard to, like, I think just with the way my parents raised me, and I thank them for that, is that they always pushed back on things when it was needed to be pushed back on. You know, you don't punish your kids. You always give them, you know, you want to give them love and affection, but if you don't punish them or tell them no, they start growing up thinking that everything's going to be yes for them. So when they start getting to the darker sides of their life or something like that, whether it be drugs, transgenderism, and stuff like that, they start just wanting that yes more, and they want to keep hearing that yes, but if they can't take that no, that's going to probably actually help them. They'll end up just hurting themselves.
That's where we're at with the 8th place trophies and shit right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's for real, though.
It's worked well for people, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's the whole mindset right now, the philosophy.
Do you have any opinion on the whole, like, safe spaces for girls and women, locker rooms, changing facilities, stuff like that? You know, it's got to be an uncomfortable position. You know, you want to go to the mall and shop just like anybody else. Which dressing room do you go to? Do you even think about it?
I do, honestly. I grew up in Miami, where everybody was, at the time, in the early 2000s, 2014, 15, 13, trans acceptance wasn't a big thing. I never felt safe. I didn't. And even then, you know, I was approaching everything as an effeminate gay male.
Right.
And I didn't feel safe going into a men's room dressed as a man because I was...
Really? But you wouldn't feel safe going into a women's dressing room dressed like a man either.
It took me a long time to even think about going into a women's dressing room when I was in Florida. Now, recently, yes, I will go into a woman's restroom, just 1, 2, 3, like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, the whole thing is, if you know what you're doing, if you look like you know what you're, approaching, then you're fine. But at first, I did have that in the back of my head, like, what am I doing? And to approach that, it's like, well, I'm dressed as a chick and I'm going, and I've got my makeup on, I look passable, I'm good.
Yep.
I've got friends that are not passable, and it's very difficult for them.
Yeah. How do they feel about it? It's got to be uncomfortable, but
It's uncomfortable.
do they think about and maybe you don't know, but do you think about other people?
Of course.
You know, like, how are they going to feel? Like, there was that story, I don't know if you guys saw it, just hit a couple days ago, but 17-year-old girl in San Diego, or Santee County or something in San Diego, and at the Y, and she's been going to the Y with her little sister for years and years and years, and she's in the shower. She gets out of the shower with just a towel on and sees a dude walk by, and, you know, fully naked, strutting around, and she was horrified. Went back into the shower,
Of course.
and waited for him to leave. Now, you know, just saying I'm a trans person, I don't want to act like, you know, because that's a tough spot to be in. But I also know that certain guys can be predators too.
Of course.
And take advantage of a situation like that. Like, I'm going to peacock around a locker room in front of a bunch of young girls, and knowing that would make them uncomfortable, and which it did. And I'm not saying this person did that or didn't do that. I don't know, but I know some would.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know what the answer is. I really don't. You know, it was easy when it was just simple, like, okay, anyone with a penis goes in this door, anyone with a vagina goes in that door, you know, but...
The way it was approached is like, there's a gender-neutral bathroom. So there's 3 bathrooms. And I work in construction. I do printing for blueprints. And I see a lot of new buildings being constructed where there's an intersex bathroom.
Yeah.
So that's becoming phased out, even with like showers and things like that. It's slowly becoming phased out in new buildings. But of course, you've got Detroit, where there's a lot of old buildings.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
men's
yeah.
and women's. So what are you going to do?
Yeah.
you know. So
I heard someone point it out, and it was the first time I'd heard it, and I was like, God, that's kind of true. They're like, you know, you have bathrooms in your house. If people come over, men use it, women use it. You wouldn't think twice about it.
Exactly.
And it's like, oh yeah.
It's
kind of
You're not in there at the same time is the issue, I guess.
Exactly.
Right.
It's not. If it's a one-holer, nobody cares.
Well, when there's I went to a Dunkin' Donuts, and I think it was in Northern California, and they made a big deal. There's a placard about anyone welcome in here, blah, 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 blah. And it's a one
it's easy when it's just one toilet.
It's just one toilet. There's a lock on the door.
That's just virtue signaling.
I did that.
It is virtue signaling, and it's fine. It's just like, okay, you want points for something that it isn't worth it. Like, it's just one at a time. Person goes in here, and they lock the door behind them. And it almost should be like that. Like, fine, have 3 bathrooms and just have a lock on them, and they're just...
And usually, if it's just a one sort of bathroom deal, like it's just a one toilet, one sink, everything, it doesn't even matter. Because like I had this issue in Campus Martius. I went to the guy's room that was there, clogged up the hell, fucking piss flying up the side. I walked right out there, went right in the women's one next door. I'm like, it's one bathroom, I can lock the door. If a guy walks out, there's no one else in there with me, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing with that. That's why women should have their own bathroom, because men are just fucking animals.
Oh, hold on.
I was gonna say, I don't know.
I've heard some horror stories about women.
Too.
Yeah,
women.
I've heard it's pretty bad too. But at least. Well,
People are just.
I was going to say you don't piss on the seat, but I've heard that too.
What were you going to say?
How's
you were
your
going to
age,
say
by the
something
way?
about...
That's the interesting thing about transitioning is like I've seen the men's room and I've seen the ladies' room, and oh my God, people are animals. It's just
okay,
people
so it's just a
being
people thing.
animals.
People are just animals,
There's,
right?
Oh, look at all the tampons. Look at all the blood. You know, and then the men's room is like, that guy got a turd and just wrote his name and left it sticking out like a horn.
Dotted the I with
You know, and people are just disgusting.
All humans are disgusting.
That's fair.
And at the end of the day, that's what I look at. It's like people are savages. Like, pick your tribe.
Do you ever see the videos on like Twitter or libs of TikTok again? Not to bring that up again, but they point these out a lot. And there's a famous one, and I'm assuming this is just like, look at me, attention seeking. I'm getting tons of followers and whatnot. But the guy who's now a woman, it's like day 50 of being a woman, and I'm having period cramps.
Oh, no.
And they're rolling around, and you're like,
dude.
you fake asshole.
And that's got to be offensive to women. They're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I would think women would be offended.
It's offensive to other trans who are like, no, we don't get cramps.
Thank you.
What the
I
hell's wrong
wanted
with
to hear you say that.
This is why,
It is, you know.
This is why we got along so long. Well, it's just because you would call it what it is.
Exactly. Because now I have people that are looking at me and thinking that.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm transitioning. This is what I'm doing. I'm not like that crazy person.
And it makes,
know.
exactly. It makes you go, okay, well, there's a glaring example of mental illness. If I've ever seen one, someone pretending to get fucking period cramps. I'm sorry, sir. You did not get period cramps. And it makes me not want to acknowledge you as a woman in that instance.
Yeah.
And it
You know what I
hurts
mean?
the whole thing overall.
What's that?
It just hurts the whole cause overall.
Yeah. It's destructive. And I hope if you take anything away from us here.
Oh, I love this.
Good,
You guys are fun.
Good. I'm glad you feel comfortable. But I really think you would, as a community, and I know you don't speak for the community, but I really wish I felt more accepted by the community as an ally. Like, yeah, I'm gonna say offensive shit. I'm gonna fuck things up sometimes. I'm gonna say an inappropriate joke. I'm gonna misgender someone. On accident, maybe. All of those things can be true, and I could still be a fucking ally.
Yeah.
You know, and I think a lot of people want to be and don't even know where they stand. You know, and I think it's important that, especially right now, that because the gay community went through this on their own, a couple decades ago, really. But the trans community is going through it now, and really could use some allies and not some fraudulent ones.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And I think one of the other things, and we'll kind of go out on this, I got a couple emails to do, and I want to thank you guys for both coming by. No
problem.
Garrett, obviously, you're
Not fun.
welcome anytime. I love having you here, brother.
I love being here.
Yeah, good. And Marina, it's great to have you here, too. I'm glad you felt comfortable and coming and hanging out with us.
Likewise.
The other thing that bothers me is, there's a real thing about detransitioning. Right?
Yes, there is.
People that have realized sometimes way too late that this was a big mistake. And as far as I can tell, those people are fucking silenced. They are no longer accepted in the community and they're shit on. And I think it would go a long way if it was like, hey, not everybody gets it right away.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like they don't exist. They don't exist. I'm sorry, Chloe Cole exists. And Chloe Cole started transitioning at a very young age and is very passable and realized this wasn't right for me. I made a mistake. Shouldn't be shut out by that community and just like left to fend for, I guess, himself now. I think he's Chloe's officially back.
No, and
back.
I think it should just be embraced with the community altogether.
Yeah.
Because that's
It's
somebody
all
who
part of it.
Has tried.
It's
They
the
wanted to
lump
be an
sum.
ally. They want to be part of the community. And if it just doesn't work for you, that doesn't mean they hate the community. It just means it doesn't work for them.
And it doesn't mean everybody in the community is going to have the experience I had.
Right.
But when you start shoving people, microwaving people through into, you think you might be trans? Well, let's get you on blockers. Let's not tell your parents. Let's go down this road. And then it doesn't work out. It's like, I don't know, man.
Those would be good voices to have in the conversation for people making those decisions.
That's kind of what I love about this right here is that you have like kind of both those. Somebody who it wasn't for them but was trying to go down that road, and then somebody who it was for them and it's working out great.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And
there are no
I know
absolutes.
someone you don't know this person. I don't really know this person either, but a dear friend of ours, their nephew, transitioned at a very early age and couldn't be happier.
Sure,
And
great.
just graduated from U of M and is killing it, and female to male. And you wouldn't know by looking at him, but couldn't be happier with it and made it at a very young age.
Yeah.
Very young age. I'll tell you off the air who I'm talking about.
Fully support on every level. I just don't support the influencing to potentially make a wrong decision. That's the problem. That's the issue that I have. That's the problem I have with the temperature that we're at right now in this country, this world.
I've gotten so frustrated to the point like, fuck it, let them all transition, and then we'll just play this out in court someday.
Yeah.
We'll play this out when you are that reckless with people's lives, and you have kids just going through the system. Cut all their dicks off, fine.
Cut 'em
and
off.
then when they're 30 and they realize, what the fuck did the professionals and my parents and the schools,
the medical field,
what the medical
blood
field,
on their hands, big time.
These people that were supposed to protect me, like I get it, wanting to make everyone feel welcome and comfortable, but that doesn't mean you get to fast forward the process for people.
Oh, God, no.
And especially people that can be influenced by outside things. It's it's one thing again to get that regrettable tattoo. It's another thing to get radical, very expensive. Someone's making out on the trans community.
Oh, yeah.
Financially,
Definitely.
Everybody should be able to be happy.
Yes.
And comfortable in their own skin. But at what cost? I mean, you're better off than transitioning and being wrong and regretting that. You're not even your own self anymore. I mean, there's just so many variables, I suppose. There is no right or wrong. There is no absolute. It's all a gray area, and it's a case-by-case basis. But it seems like it's just, like I said, microwaving it through. It's just become chic.
Yeah.
It's been the thing of the moment that...
Yeah, it almost becomes trendy to become trans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a problem, I
Hate
think.
that.
That's our fear. That's where we're at. I mean, So
That's how it feels.
nothing
certainly.
nothing against the trans community at all. I want everybody to be happy and be themselves. I have a problem with the trend of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's going to just feed
Do you guys
regret.
talk about that, by the way? The kind of trendiness of it all? Like,
Yeah.
wow, we're on magazine covers all of a sudden and TV shows. And
No, when you run into those,
Yeah.
people in our gaming groups and stuff, where you can kind of tell where it's just like sort of a trendy thing to them, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if we want to support them or encourage them, or if we want to tell them, hey, maybe you should think about that a little bit more.
Yeah.
'cause
Be authentic. That's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Give them,
might
everybody needs
not be
all the
you.
data to make their own decision.
The problem is before the human brain is fully developed, which doesn't fully happen until you're like 25 years old.
Yeah.
Any decision you make is potentially regrettable. It just is.
Even as a
And-
grown-ass man or woman or whatever. I mean, it's still regrettable. It can be. You can make a wrong decision, but that's why all the information should be available.
Especially for young girls. Young girls appear to be transitioning at a much higher rate than young males transitioning to female. And, there's a lot of studies. You don't read much about them because it's not popular.
Yeah.
But where, they're really worried about peer pressures and, how much is it? Like, young girls especially are very, very influenced by cliques and circles more so than boys are. And so, you know, it levels out later, but in those early years, you know, what are you doing or what are you encouraging potentially that can come back and really harm people later that maybe made a decision that they regret, you know?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, keep us posted, will you?
Of course.
Yeah.
You know,
Definitely.
I'm always, it's a fascinating topic. I hope we weren't offensive to you, but.
I know, it's a lot of fun. I'm
good.
sorry I had to duck out in the middle.
Oh,
Don't worry.
hey, that's
I do
the
it all
best
the
part
time.
about a podcast. It's the best part.
Usually
We can do
when
whatever
Mike
we
goes
want.
into a random read out of nowhere, it's because Troy had to run.
Yeah, or the dogs bouncing around. Believe me, I've been in 100 radio stations, and we've never had dogs running around banging into microphones. But here, it's great. It's great. So
Come
we
back
can-
in the summer when it's not freezing out.
That's what I said.
definitely.
It'll be a different experience. I
hot
promise.
tub, pool. We got the.
I didn't mean
get
like
the
here
barbecue
specifically.
going.
You're welcome here, of course. I
Thank
meant
you.
I was speaking Detroit in general, but you're absolutely welcome to come back, of course.
Yeah, and Detroit is fun in the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've been
yeah,
told.
yeah. I mean,
Definitely
yeah.
planning on it.
Yeah. Okay, let's do a couple emails and then we'll get out of here. We'll get you guys input on stuff. So this person says, gents, I've been getting caught up with episodes tonight. I have a few items you might find of interest. First, I was job hunting for an industry change at the beginning of the year and decided to test something. Luckily or unluckily, my name could definitely be a girl's name on a resume. So I decided to try a trial applying as a male or female. My buddy questioned me about what I would do if I were ever questioned about this during the interview. I'm definitely bald and definitely a man. My thought is that I don't actually think that a company could even question if I was a man or not by law. So why not just roll with the ambiguity and potential of potentially being gender fluid / trans, but not transition? Surprise, surprise, that working in a male-dominated field and applying as female resulted in way more interviews than I knew what to do with, and probably scored additional points by potentially filling an internal woke quota. I'm sure I'm not the only person to come to this realization and have zero concerns for my moral compass. Second, Beaver Island is beautiful. My mom spent her childhood serving at some ice cream shop on the island and took us there as kids. That's a
Nice.
reference to something we were
Going
talking
up for a music festival.
Music
possibly,
festival.
talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah.
Hey, I looked into that.
What?
You can get a full like 2 or 3 day pass or whatever it is for the music festival, and a fucking flight there for $280.
What the
Yeah.
fuck?
And it was like, hey, it's like 240 to take the ferry. Like, I'm flying that bitch in. Fuck
What-
yeah.
Who's
Concert
playing
tickets
at
are
that
bad.
thing again?
I don't know. I'll have to
Yeah,
look
I
it
don't
up.
even know either. I didn't even ask.
Oh, Sponge and
yeah,
shit.
that's right. Sponge and
and
the
the
Orbitons.
Orbitons are probably headlining.
Yeah.
would be my guess. But
Yeah. These guys are way too young to know who that is.
I fucking love Sponge.
I know
What are
you
you talking
do.
about?
I
Come
know
on.
you do.
I've met Vinny.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, I was at that show at Novi.
Hell yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, yeah. God, they're great.
So nice.
Oh, he's the
Great
best.
dude.
Sweetest
Oh, yeah.
dude ever. Any thoughts on that? Anyone? Or we can toss it around the room.
Concert tickets are expensive.
No.
That's just the
I
last
mean,
part.
yeah, they
I'm
are.
mad. I've got some heat going on for that.
We can get you.
This-
some
that's
tips
just
for
the
that
start
one.
of it.
We know people. For
that's
that.
just the
I
start.
got one coming in the Fillmore.
Yeah.
Maybe I might have to hit you up for that. 'Cause,
Oh boy. All right, we'll talk.
we'll talk.
No, about the person with the female or
Yeah.
male name. You
Yeah.
know, we see a lot of those.
Gender
Lynn.
neutral.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gender neutral names.
It's Pat.
His name is Mac, and we kept asking him to send us titty pictures.
Oh, Mackenzie.
Oh,
We thought-
Mackenzie.
So you already
Mackenzie-
thought it was a woman.
I thought it was a woman. His name was Mackenzie, and it was like, oh yeah, she sounds like she's got a great set on her. And it turns out he's like, yeah, my name's Mackenzie. I'm a guy. Fuck off. I was like, oh, okay. So we've been burned, but yeah, I
Parents
imagine
gave you a girly name to toughen you up. I like that.
There you go.
we've seen stories about this before where I know this happened in the black community
Yeah.
for a while where parents gave kids like really
You'd be like Richard or Jonathan or something like that.
yeah, and they would apply as more traditional name instead of, Lamangelo.
Yeah.
Orangelo.
And going, they knew what color I was by my fucking name,
Yeah.
and so I changed it up on them.
Never met a white Lamont.
Nope.
Just saying.
nope.
I think
true.
my best take on that is I think it's just getting ahead. Not getting ahead, but taking
Getting
one
ahead?
over on the getting ahead.
Yeah.
But, like getting one over on the company.
Yeah.
I mean, for one, it's like it's kind of shitty, but at the same time, if that company's just trying to meet quotas and be all woke,
Yeah.
might as well get one over on them while you can.
Amen. to
Why
that.
not? Why
Absolutely.
Kind of throw their own agenda in their face.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
if
Let
you're
it
a good
backfire.
worker, you're
Then
a
we'll
good
see.
worker. Who
Then
cares?
we'll
Yeah,
reset
exactly.
and start over.
Yeah. And I guess, I mean, if it's a company that's usually a field that's totally male dominated,
Oh, yeah.
it's like, can we please get a girl in here? You know,
We got one.
It's like
Mackenzie.
Yeah, we got a Mackenzie or a Lynn
An
or
Alex.
a Chris.
Yeah.
You know,
Could you imagine going just full drag, makeup, wig, dress, everything to the interview, and then showing up your first day of work in a suit and tie, just total, all
Yeah.
duded out, you know?
Definitely.
Do it. Take
You can
advantage.
do that.
Exactly. That's
can
all
do
it is.
that.
That's how you start gaming the
And then
system.
they can't fire you because it's gender discrimination.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to play the system to get ahead.
You damn
I
right.
understand that. You got to get that job. You got to pay the bills. At the end
That's
of the day.
right.
Yep.
It sucks, but you got to do what you got to do.
Do what you got to
Have
do.
you noticed that? Because I know insurance is cheaper for women, especially in younger age, than
No.
it is for men. Car insurance?
Oh, car insurance. Health
Car
insurance is the opposite.
Yeah, no, I mean
Yeah.
car insurance.
They got all the other stuff going on.
And people are like, you should
They
fucking
actually go to
play
the
that,
doctor and shit.
game
We
that
guys
system.
don't.
What's that?
I said girls actually go to the doctor. Guys
Right,
don't.
right. Yeah, so can you play that card?
I have
like,
to,
I'm
well,
a female
I
driver?
need. I can do that, but I need to go to like the court and change my name and gender officially.
Yeah.
You know, and present it. I think they've gotten a cap on that.
Can you actually make it a female on the ID, or is there a like an X or something else that it
They've
has
done
to be?
X at some places.
Right, no, that's what I'm saying. But can you go and actually change your ID to female?
If I went to the like the city of Phoenix, yeah, I could.
Okay.
It's like $130 or something.
Okay.
I'm being told.
Yeah.
And it
I just
takes
felt like a
several
driver's
months.
license. That's why I wasn't like,
Yeah.
because that's like
So you don't have to be at like any level
Legal,
of
you know.
transition.
To my knowledge, no. I
Okay.
could go
Just
get a name
curious.
They
change.
show up with this nice shitty beard.
right.
I think you can.
Yeah,
I
that'd
think
funny.
technically
Yeah.
you can claim to be transition and be female one day and male the next if you want it. I'm not, obviously you're not doing that, but you can.
Yeah.
There was just that story about the trans woman that had all her bank accounts and everything frozen because there was some sort of an issue. Called the bank and they were like, "Fuck that! That's a dude. Freeze that shit."
Yeah.
Because it was a check, it was a female's name on the account and everything, and then called and was like, "Yeah, this is Joni Mitchell,"
Yeah.
and they were like, oh, "Okay, fraud, shut it all down."
Really? And it wasn't?
Yeah,
I've actually had that happen to me where it was the opposite. There's a male name on this,
Right.
and I'm talking to a female.
yep.
And this is before transition. I've always sounded effeminate.
Yeah.
You know, so, and it's been an
You don't
issue.
push that voice at all. That's your natural, normal
This
voice.
is me.
Trust me, I haven't caught her slipping
Not
up yet,
once?
so
Really?
it's real.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Piss her off and kill her in a game or
Oh yeah,
something.
it's
Like, God damn it!
about a year and a half.
motherfucker.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
just like
So it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
You know,
oh no,
like
it goes
I'll be-
exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. One recent thing was when I switched jobs. When I worked at Office Max for many years. Now I got into printing with a different company, and I was switching over my 401k to this company, and they flagged me like
really?
this.
Yeah.
You know, so like, oh well, you know, when you first called in, we had to do the recording, and we matched your this, that, and this, and I just like whatever, but I need my money. Give me my money.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just, oh well, now I can kind of hear it. I'm like, thanks so much. Thanks so much.
Appreciate that.
It sounds like you've got a very
sold me.
level attitude about people and like
Yeah.
Yeah.
what
I
is
think
it
so.
just
Experience,
understanding
too.
that like, you know what, not everyone's going to get this, not everyone's going to understand, not everyone's trying to be an asshole.
Yeah.
Is that
It's-
kind of the mentality of it?
Exactly. It's always been my mentality. It's like, this is life.
Yeah.
Things are going to happen no matter what. It's going to be out of
Yeah.
your control.
You ever having
You
a
know.
really shitty day and taking out on someone like
Have I? Once or twice. I
You
think
know,
we've all had.
came out once
You
at
know.
one time.
yeah,
This,
We get
oh
there.
gosh.
what'd
yeah.
you do?
So I was,
This is for my dad.
no, I'm going to like die. My gosh, no. I was on the phone trying to get chemo. And these
Chemo?
yeah, I'm on chemo, believe it or not,
For cancer?
for cancer.
What do you have cancer of?
Chronic myeloid leukemia.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
I was diagnosed in 2020,
Damn.
and now I'm in remission.
Excellent.
Good.
Congratulations.
That's great
Oh yeah,
to hear.
for
Yeah.
sure. It's not a tragedy. Everything happened
Yeah.
for me to get here, and I'm proud of it. Like
Good.
I celebrate it. You know, I lost a lot of weight. Feel good.
Hope your hair doesn't
So,
fall out. It's
A lot of
gorgeous.
it did, but I'm getting into
It is
that,
gorgeous,
too.
isn't it? I've been noticing
absolutely.
the whole show.
Right?
Yeah, I'm jealous.
It's getting a Holly vibe.
Yeah.
Hair, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate it.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah. There is a Holly vibe. Can you sing? Because Holly's got a great voice.
Absolutely.
A friend.
Have I tried? One day.
Yeah.
Mr. Band guy over here.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll figure it out.
Garrett can
Get the full
out.
rock band
The
together.
woke,
and then
you'll be
you
called
can
the
sing.
Woke Bays.
There you go. The woke
Yeah.
days.
There you go.
I'll talk to my
Start
brother.
something
There you
fun.
go.
He's kind of the asshole in the name. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. So what were you saying? You were going to tell a story, and I think we all.
And we all, yeah,
Shit,
forgive me.
Jack, sorry.
No, I was trying to get chemo from this company up in Canada, and because they make this special drug that's supposed to cure everything. And I'm talking to them, and this woman kept interrupting me. She's like, I'm sorry, I don't think you're this person. Could I talk to this person? And I'm like, no, this is me. I'm in transition. I had to get really aggressive with her, and she was very apologetic on the phone. But you'd think there would be some sort of professionalism in the medical field.
Yeah.
You know, this person is trying to help me get chemo
Yeah.
over the phone, a
Yeah,
pill.
like that's a big fraud issue there. Like
Right,
trying to
yeah.
sneak in some,
You know, and
Yeah,
I
transitioning to get a discount on chemo.
yeah, it's not a
which was
Yeah.
never brought up. I never raised the trans card. This one over here constantly tells me, you need to throw down the
I
trans
keep
card.
saying, if you got it, use
Yeah.
it.
Hey, oh,
And-
He's got the fag
yeah, we got a
card.
fag card. Can we get a trans card?
He
Can
loves
can we-
cards.
Yeah.
We'll work on that.
Yeah. Hey, just in case, I'll
throw
take
it
all
out
the.
there.
I'll take all the
backup.
cards. Yeah, we need all the cards we can get, right, Troy?
Absolutely.
So we need a trans ally
Yeah.
card.
I'm trying
too.
not to get the show canceled. I like this show. You
Yeah.
work your work.
Yeah,
There you go.
Work on that
exactly.
for us. That would be a big help.
All right, another email. Troy's JPE.
Uh-oh.
Joke
Oh,
per
boy.
episode.
Jokes per episode. So when sometimes jokes are made and we're all blathering on and we miss it, it goes right over our head. And listeners are keen, they hear it and they want credit given out. So Troy had an all-time JPE and it was completely missed because E wouldn't shut the fuck up. E's not here today. He's another. While talking about the Martin Luther the King statue, Mike said, "Why do we need his wife's head?" And quietly, Troy said, "Well, she still has hers." Great line. Unfortunately, the fucking tard had to squawk about nonsense and stopped all over it with love.
Yeah, we heard that
Oh,
in the car.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was still
Somebody caught it.
laughing hysterically about what was it? Al Sharpton, King of the Blacks.
King of the
You just
Blacks.
Lost it.
Oh my god, I love that. Thank you. The way that you said it, Al Sharpton, King of the Blacks.
King of the Blacks.
I lose my shit every time. I'm like, I love him so much.
There you go.
Oh my god,
Great. That's great.
perfect.
We're all supposed to laugh
the
a
ring.
little, right?
Yes.
Yeah, kiss the ring. Kiss the ring. Let's see. Well, I'll hold that one. That won't make sense. Roots.
Oh, boy.
That wasn't a comedy. We left our balls off in high school to the point our libtard teacher turned it off and never covered that giant lie again.
Thanks, James.
We got past the part where he learned his real name the hard way, but I have no idea where it got turned off. Yeah. I don't know.
Is that a James?
Of course it is.
Oh!
Oh yeah.
You
James or
nailed
no James?
When's the game coming?
we
I
just
can write
played
some
it. I
emails.
just won.
He did just.
I'll start writing in a little bit more.
Nice.
Let me see if there's any others. Yeah, James will be. Well, here's James.
Well,
Yeah, James likes
this
to
is
write a
James.
lot, and James is.
I'm 2 for
He's
2.
a fun person.
I'm 2 for 2.
He is fun. He actually calls himself libertarian.
Yeah, that's what I am.
Believe it or not.
That's why I'm like,
Yeah.
we get along great. And he told me,
Same.
he's like yelling at me.
Oh, you would get
yeah.
along great with him. He's just a little, you wouldn't want him around certain company, probably.
Yeah.
He seems like fun at parties, but not the
As
funeral.
long as it's like just a lot of
Yeah.
white people. I think
Yeah,
you'd
a
be
lot of
fine.
white people, maybe in a barn with a fucking
straight white
cross
guys, I
burning in
think
the
you'll be
front
good.
yard. Yeah, he'd be great. He'd be great.
He's
there.
aggressive.
Bring your own robe. It's
Life
bring
of the
your own
party.
robe night. Pointed hats only.
We saw that at the museum. Oh my god.
Henry Ford.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a KKK. Like, oh, look at this. I'm like, oh my god.
They had a Klan robe there.
Yeah, they have a whole
Yes.
clan robe.
Wow.
All right.
Did you try it on?
I wanted to, but they wouldn't let me.
Yeah, they're like that sometimes.
Yeah.
You can try Mike's on. It's upstairs.
Sweet.
That's not funny.
I don't know, it might be a little too short for me.
God damn it, that's
Bang, bang.
even worse. That's even more
Bang, bang.
offensive.
Double up.
I don't like this. I'm getting double teamed by two dudes.
Oh my goodness.
Chick-fil-A from James, of course. You know a fag who's so emasculated he hid the wrapper from his beast of a Karen wife. Dear God, Mike, the estrogen stench on you is permeating through my speakers. Cut that ballless wonder from your life, or have him bitch slap her with that chicken cutlet until the demon spirit leaves her. Have him douse her in holy water while he's exorcising that demon that possesses her.
Thanks, James.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, James.
2 for 2.
The others are too long. We'll let them sit there. But,
Sure.
all right, let's call it a day there. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, guys. This has been a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
really.
Anytime.
Thank you so
I love
much.
this.
And
Thank you as well.
Really nice
we'll
meeting
do it
you.
again. I hope Detroit's repped well for you and you've had
Love
fun. Good.
Oh, yeah.
Good. The people have been nice.
Incredibly, actually. Yes.
Good.
Great.
Very friendly city.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Yeah.
Yes.
You wouldn't think so in the news.
No.
Exactly. No.
I was trying to explain. I was like, it's kind of like a guarded secret. Like everyone else thinks we're really dangerous and like super crazy. Then you get
they
here and
are.
you realize, yeah, there are.
On some
That.
level,
But once you get here, it's like if you know where you're going, it's all great. Everyone's
Exactly.
super happy to see you.
Go from
Yeah.
A to B, and you're fine.
Exactly.
now you got to go out to Arizona and visit her.
That's the plan next. I
yeah,
think.
it's awesome. Arizona, there's
yeah.
so much to check out there.
Oh,
Yeah, Arizona's very cool. All right, everybody, have a great rest of the day. We will be back tomorrow. We'll see you then.